Hey, sports fans, PBnZ Sports Chaos. We're back at you. It's college game day. I got a little college game day in the background. I'm going to have a little pumpkin beer in a little while. But first of all, I'm drinking some coffee out of my PBnZ Sports Chaos mug. Thank you, Mr. PB. I see you sitting in the background there with some sunshine going, warm weather. Right now, I'm watching the college game day. As I said, they're in Minnesota. 25 degrees and snow in Minnesota. Thank God we're not there.
87 right. And sunny here.
Nice, nice. All right. Last night, we had a little World Series action. Before the game, it was 1-1. You and I talked. I was sticking with the Dodgers. I think you were having a little change of heart. You had Dodgers at the beginning of the year, but then you said what?
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is just because the Lightning already won, and now if the Rays can pull it off, and then you got the Bucks that could contend for a Super Bowl, it'd be nice to have a little trifecta in a city like Tampa. But they're a scrappy team, right? They're kind of remind me of the early 2000 Sox type team. They don't have like a lot of flashy superstar type plays. Certainly more talent on the field in Los Angeles than in Tampa.
Right.
But and I did pick the Dodgers to win all before the season even started. So if I stuck with what I said, I'd go Dodgers. But just for the sake of fun, I'm gonna go with the Rays.
All right. Well, tough loss last night, right? Dodgers took care of them a little bit handily, kind of handily. I mean, they got all their runs with 2 outs, the Dodgers, last night. So just when the Rays thought they had an inning wrapped up, boom, lightning strike. So we'll see. They're going with all relievers in Game 4 is what I heard, correct?
Yeah, they tend to mess around with their pitching staff. Pretty
openers, as they call them, openers, right?
Yeah, openers. Yep, yeah.
All right, hey, we mentioned college football. Big news this week. Obviously, it's the Big Ten is back. First game was last night. Wisconsin played. They blew out Illinois. Freshman quarterback last night, 21 out of 22, 5 touchdowns. Kid named Hurts, I think it is. By the way, he's friends with Patrick Mahomes. Apparently, he works out with Pat. He can call him Pat. Everybody else must call him Patrick, apparently. Interesting thing about the Big Ten, they're going to play an 8-game conference-only schedule, PB. No bye weeks. And if you have a COVID outbreak and you can't play the game, it's not made up. It's a no contest. So you have to play a minimum of 6 to be eligible for the playoffs or the Big Ten playoff. So definitely you're playing 2 opponents every week. COVID and the other team in order to keep playing, apparently. And I still think, I know you talked me out of it a little bit, but I got to believe at this point in time, Ohio State is still going to win that Big Ten. They run the table. We'll talk about that momentarily. I think they're going to make the playoffs. But first, I got to mention one little thing. You remember earlier when the Big Ten said, no way, we're not going to play? Nebraska said, well, we're going to play football. Guess what? Little karma. After that little mutiny, guess who they open up with? None other than the Ohio State. Nebraska, I think, is an underdog by 28.5 points or something like that. So we'll see. You still thinking that the Big Ten, though, will not have anybody in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, they already have Ohio State slotted at number 5, right, without playing a game yet. So even if they did run the table at 8-0, you're still going to have, right now, Georgia's ranked 4th, right? Georgia's ranked ahead of them with a loss. So to me, if Georgia and Ohio State both run the table, Georgia's getting that spot, not Ohio State. And then you have some other one-loss teams in there, too. You got Miami. You got Florida. You got, Cincinnati's undefeated at number 9. There's some other teams that can take over that spot. I don't think the Big Ten deserves to have a CFP spot still. And look at the Ohio State schedule. They're playing 8 games. They got Maryland on the schedule. They got Rutgers on the schedule. They only play 2 ranked teams all year. They play Penn State. They play Michigan. That's it. And that's saying Michigan's ranked now. They could not be ranked after tonight after they lose to Minnesota, right?
Good point.
I just don't see the schedule strong enough, even though it's all in the conference, to get there. They're not playing any SEC teams. They're not playing any Big 12 teams. I don't think they're going to do it.
Well, neither of those other conferences playing outside of the conference, right? Other than they might play a MAC team or something like that, 1 game. But everybody's playing conference only. Here's the deal. I think of Ohio State, if they run the table, right now, the FBI has them number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense. They haven't even played yet. They're number 1 in both categories. And FBI, I know they're 5th in the AP, but FBI has them 3rd in the rankings at this point in time, behind Clemson and Alabama. I'm not an Ohio State fan at all. I would love to see them lose a game. I'm kind of rooting for COVID to cancel a couple of their games, if anything, if they can't lose one on the field. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think if they go undefeated, they're in. And who knows if Penn State goes undefeated. God forbid, if undefeated Penn State could leapfrog a one-loss Georgia or a one-loss Florida. By the way, neither one of Florida or Georgia is going to go one loss if they have to play Alabama in their conference playoffs. They're going to have two losses regardless. So
that's a good point.
We'll
that's a good point. Yeah, and let's talk about that because, you know, clearly, regardless of who makes that third and fourth spot, can we agree that Clemson and Alabama are clearly the two best teams in college football and will likely meet in the college football championship again this year? This is the 7th year they've done it.
Yes.
4th time in 7 years that it was a Clemson-Alabama final.
Right.
And all but 1 year, one of those two teams was actually represented in the final game. The only time neither of those teams were not represented was the very first college football playoff. Do you recall what it was?
Ohio State and somebody, I think.
Yeah, it was Ohio State, and they actually won it. They beat Oregon.
Oh, the Ducks. Oh, yeah. I do remember that. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think Marcus Mariota was the quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, for the Ducks.
For Oregon that year. Yeah, it could have been.
And Cardell Jones. Cardell Jones was the Ohio State quarterback. By the way, Justin Fields is getting a lot of love, but that makes me think of something. Cardell Jones never panned out in the NFL. Terrell Pryor never panned out in the NFL. Ohio State gets a lot, and Dwayne Haskins is now benched for the Washington football team. So Ohio State quarterbacks are a little bit overrated, kind of like Florida quarterbacks in the early 2000s, I think. So
yeah. Like Haskins is kind of a flop, right? Even go back in the old days with Arch Sleesta. Remember Arch Sleesta? He was a mess.
The gambler, yes, literally the gambler. Yes, yeah. You know what? I might be back on the bandwagon. No Big Ten team should be in there. All right. You got me convinced. A good argument. Hey, let's do some picks. Last week I was 3-1. I think you were on the opposite end of that, 1-3. They say the cream is rising to the top. We'll see. I'm going to be a little bit gutsy this week. Iowa State, number 17 in the country. They go and play Oklahoma State, number 6. The only undefeated team in the Big 12 at this point in time is Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
The last shot, who do you like here? It is a 3.5-point game, Oklahoma State favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they're undefeated, but, you know, the Cowboys sitting at number 6 right now in the country, they haven't beaten anybody. I don't see why that's the – Iowa State's at 17 only because of an opening day loss to Louisiana. If they didn't lose the game, they'd be in the college football playoff discussion right now. They won at TCU, they beat Oklahoma, and they beat Texas Tech. So you're giving me 3.5 points with Iowa State in this game. I'll take them all day long.
I'm with you. I am as well. And don't forget, I did call my early sleeper at the beginning of the year until they suffered that loss. But you're right. They could come back, and they got Texas, I think, in 6 weeks. They win that game. You know, they might be in the playoffs. We'll see. All right. Here's one that's an interesting game. Number 23, North Carolina State. I can't believe they're ranked. They go to their arch rival, number 14th, North Carolina. It was 17 points. It's dropped to 14.5. I believe both these teams are way overrated. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I agree with you that they're both overrated, and obviously the money's coming in on NC State. I mean, both of these teams really haven't proven themselves yet or beaten anybody of any real caliber. So I'm going to take those points with North Carolina State in this one.
At 17, I really like North Carolina State. 14.5, I'm a little bit itchy on it, but I'm with you. I don't think North Carolina can play defense. So at the end of the day, they'll win the game, but State covers. All right. The Little Brown Jug game being played in snowy Minnesota. Tonight at 7:30, you've got number 18, Michigan, number 21, Minnesota. Michigan's favored by 3. I have no idea how, but they are. Hey, DYK, Little Brown Jug is the oldest, what they call name game in the country. Any idea what year that started?
Man, back in the 30s maybe? 1930?
You're about 30 years off. 1903.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes. All right. Who do you like in that game?
Neither team has played yet, right? They're both sitting at 0-0. They're both ranked right around the same. Minnesota's at home. They're getting 3 points. I'll take the home team with the points. Golden Gophers.
I'm with you. Roll the boat. PJ Fleck. I like that guy. He's a good coach. All right. Cincinnati, number 9 in the country. They're going down to Texas to play SMU. SMU's 16th in the country. They got a quarterback by the name of Shane Buechele. Shane was a former Texas Longhorn quarterback. I still believe he's the best Texas quarterback at Texas. He's at SMU now. They're favored by 3. Who do you like?
I mean, you take a look at the Mustangs. I mean, both these teams are undefeated. Mustangs are sitting at 5-0, but they haven't beaten anybody. They beat Texas State, North Texas, Memphis, Tulane, and Stephen Austin. Those are their 5 wins. So
Memphis is a good win. That's a tough game for them every year.
Yeah, but, Cincinnati, they've beat South Florida. They've beaten Army, a little bit more formidable teams. I mean, they haven't played a big team yet. Their defense looks good. They're number 9 in the country, and you're giving me 3 points with them. I'm going to take the Bearcats in this one.
Oh, we're going to go 4 for 4. I'm picking Bearcats as well. I like them.
All right.
By the way, I think they're an outside shot. You said it earlier. I think if they run the table and anybody in the Big Ten loses a game of the big teams, if anybody in the SEC loses another game, you might see them sneak in if they run the table, right?
Yeah, some analysts actually had them as the 4th team in the CFP this year.
That would be fun to see. All right. Hey, NFL, let's talk about that. We had a game on Thursday. Eagles came back from 11 down to beat the Gents in the NFC least. The play of the game was Danny Dimes on his way to an 88-yard touchdown. Apparently, he was running 21 miles an hour when he went to 21.2. He tripped over Gary Grass and fell on the ground and did not complete the touchdown. I've seen this highlight now this morning play 4 more times. It's now played over 30 times since I've been watching TV in the last 28 hours. It's unbelievable. Oh, man. All right. Hey, speaking of last week, man, was it boring or was it just me?
There was a lot of boring games. I mean, I did have the opportunity to go out last week. This was the first week that the Patriots were not on national TV, so I had to go out to a sports bar, which – obviously, I had DirecTV and NFL tickets, so I got to see all of the games, the early games especially. Pats, Broncos, certainly a sleeper.
8 field goals. 8 field goals.
All field goals. Yeah. Well, almost all field goals. Right, 1 touchdown. And then I really did like the Atlanta-Minnesota game. That was kind of cool. Seeing Atlanta get off the snide, go on the road, big win in Minnesota. And then in the late games, you had Tampa and Green Bay. That was a pretty fun game to watch too.
So Green Bay ran out 10-0, and then Tampa Bay 38 straight points.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brady does Brady things. Yeah, it's getting late in the season when he keeps
up. And by the way, the Bills laid a complete dud against Kansas City. Mahomes didn't even really have to pass. They ran for almost 300 yards in the game, for crying out loud, right?
Yeah.
Whew. Hey, this week we're going to do our picks momentarily, but there's some real big news coming into this week. First of all, you got Le'Veon Bell goes to the Chiefs. Oh, my God. What do you think of that move?
I mean, CEH he's the main back there. He's the lead back. He'll continue to be the lead back. I think if nothing else, Le'Veon's going to be a change of pace back probably. You can't even say he's going to be a 3rd down back because CEH can catch the ball out of the backfield. He gets a lot of touches. He takes a lot of snaps. Le'Veon might be in there for 25, 33% of the snaps. And he's probably looking at, 10 touches in the game, in my opinion, at least in the first game that he's playing with them.
I think the over-under is 12, so you're right there. All right. By the way, the other news that just broke late last night, early this morning, who saw this coming? Antonio Brown signs with the Buccaneers, of all things. They had him going to Seattle, maybe the Ravens, but Seattle seemed to be the leading team, and out of nowhere, the Bucs get Antonio Brown. PB, what do you make of this?
Well, Godwin, Evans, and AB as your 3 receivers, man, that's pretty intense.
And Brady already has some chemistry with AB due to that little short stint last year in Foxborough, right?
Yeah. And you got Gronk and Brait at tight end, and you got that team's Ronald Jones at running back. That should be an offense.
Leonard Fournette. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, they already are an offensive powerhouse, and their defense is very, very, very good. So this team is definitely a Super Bowl contender, especially with New Orleans not really doing as well as we thought. I did expect Seattle and Green Bay both to have really good years. Still have them both at 12-4. So, I think it's Tampa and those two teams probably at this point in terms of who's going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. And the last piece of news before we do our picks, down there, your new home team made a surprising announcement. Tell me about that one.
Oh, yeah. So after the bye week this week, the Miami Dolphins will be starting Tua at quarterback in place of Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is a lot of people and fans are probably excited about this move because they want to see Tua. Tua could be the next Mahomes. Who knows, right? But he also could be the next RG3. I just don't know what to expect out of this guy. I personally like Justin Herbert better than Tua. In my mock draft, I had the Dolphins taking Herbert over Tua. But this kid's a real deal. He's definitely more talented of a quarterback, but can he manage a game like Fitz? And is this the right time to even replace him? It's not like Fitzpatrick's been playing horrible. He's been playing very well. He's managing the game. He's won 3. He's lost 3, but he lost to the Patriots on opening day. He lost to the Bills by 3 points, and he only lost to Seattle by 8 points. And they were in both those games. So
3 playoff teams potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's, he could lead this team to a 8-8, 9-7, or maybe even 10-6 record if he stays course. But we'll see.
A little DYK.
I think the ceiling is higher.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There's a little DYK. Yep. Since the start of 2019, he has a better QBR rating than Deshaun Watson. I think it's like 71.4. More yards per attempt when passing than Tom Brady, and a higher completion percentage, this one really shocked me, than Aaron Rodgers since the start of last year. So Fitzy has not been bad. I'm with you. I don't know if that was the right time.
Right, and that goes back to the game management. Those things help you manage a game. And, Tua could come in and throw 3 picks in the first half, right? And we'll see.
Do you think ownership pressed the coach because Herbert's having such a hot start?
Could be. There could be something going on.
I thought that too.
How long are you going to let this kid sit on the bench for?
Well, until he started losing, then I would have said, okay, we need to change it up. But you were 3-3. Well, who knows? We'll see. We'll find out next week, right?
Yep.
All right, let's do some picks. Last week I ran 5-1. What did you do last week?
I went 4-2. We only had one game different. It was the Chicago-Carolina game. You had the Bears. I had the Panthers, so you won that one.
All right, let's get into it. You've got Detroit and Atlanta on the scoreboard playing this week. We're going to pick them. Who do you like? It's a close game, 2.5 points according to Vegas.
Yeah, and you know what? Atlanta looked pretty decent last week. They won on the road at Minnesota. They got off the snide, won their first game of the year. I think they can carry that momentum over. They're at home again. Detroit, although they're 2-1 on the road, I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Matty Ice, and I think that the Falcons are going to win that one.
I'm with you. And the Matt Patricia watch is on. If he loses this game, we'll see what happens. I got Atlanta as well. All right, probably the game of the weekend, undefeated. Pittsburgh goes out to the Tennessee Titans. They are a favorite on the road. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the home dog. I think Vrabel will figure out a way to shut down Pittsburgh's offense. They don't have a flashy, awesome offense. They have a good offense. I think Vrabel will game plan that. And then on the other side of the ball, I think Henry has a big day. I expect him to run wild, and Tennessee wins this game. It'll be close, but Tennessee will win.
Little DYK. During the Mike Tomlin era, only one running back ever has rushed for 3 touchdowns against the Steelers. Any idea who?
I think you're baiting me into a Patriots guy here, maybe. James White.
No, another big back, not with the Patriots, but another big back, much like Travis Henry, Leonard Fournette in the 2018 playoffs. So, to your point, however, I am taking the Steelers with this year's Offensive Rookie of the Year, Chase Claypool, running away with 3 touchdowns this week. All right, San Fran, Jimmy G comes back home to play his old team, the Patriots. Pats are a slight favorite in that game. They're coming off 2 losses in a row. Belichick, I don't know, has lost 3 in a row since Brady came there. Here we go. What do you think happens this week?
Yeah, I mean, the loser of this game is going to be on the outside looking in. I mean, they're going to be handed their 4th loss. So you're either going to have San Francisco at 3-4, or the Patriots at 2-4. That's a tough road the rest of the way to get into the playoffs. And it's in New England. Belichick, I don't think he's going to lose 3 games in a row. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to probably be a little bit of a snoozer because both teams have decent defenses. So I'm going to take the Patriots in a close one.
I'm with you. 49ers lost too many people to injury on that team, including 3 defensive linemen, their cornerback. Their running back, Mozart, is out as well. So I don't think they win this game. I think you're right on that one. I'm going with the Pats as well. All right, Seattle and Arizona. This game is now the primetime game on Sunday because of this COVID thing of the Raiders. We'll talk about it in a moment. Seattle's favored to go to Arizona, who came off a big win on Monday night last week. Who do you like there?
Yeah, I think, Arizona's an interesting team. They could probably go out and beat any team in any week and lose to any team in any week, which they've already proven, right? They lost to the Lions, but they've beaten some really good teams too. And I think I got Seattle going 12-4 this year, so they got to lose 4 games somewhere. I don't think they're going to run the table and go 16-0, and I think this is one of those games. They go on the road to Arizona, and Arizona hands them their first loss. So I'm going to take the Cardinals.
You know what? I'm so tempted to go with the Cardinals as well, but I think Seattle gets it done. I have a feeling their ability to throw the long ball will open it up. I know Arizona stops the long ball. They're number 1 in the league with passes over 15 yards defense, but I still got the Seattle win that game. All right. Tampa Bay plays the Raiders. This was supposed to be the primetime game. It's not because of a big COVID outbreak. 5 offensive linemen potentially may not play, all starters for the Raiders. Now they said 4 of them will, most likely, but still it's iffy. What do you think happens in this game?
Yeah, I mean, Brady just starts to get better and better as the year goes on. That's how he plays historically. He gets more chemistry with his players. Godwin came back last year, so he's developing some chemistry with him now. Obviously, we talked about the aforementioned AB that signed there. I don't know how many snaps he'll see this week, but he
can't play. He can't play till after week 9.
Oh, okay. So he's not gonna be in there. He'll be there for the stretch, obviously. But I think this is probably, out of all the games we're picking, this will probably be the biggest win. I got him double digits easy, if not 17, 20 points. Tampa Bay is going to crush it.
I'm with you on that one. All right, the last game we've got. Hey, hang on. In case that game does not get played, I think it will, but real quick, Green Bay, Houston. It's the backup.
Houston, I think since O'Brien has left, the team is getting better. Watson's getting better. They've shown me some signs, and I could see them maybe sneaking this game out because they're obviously in kind of a desperation mode right now, 1-5, kind of like the Falcons. They're almost like the Falcons, right? But Green Bay's tough, man. And I think if this turns into a shootout, you got to pick the better quarterback, in this case, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers.
I'm with you, too, Green Bay. All right. Chicago goes to the Rams. This one is a little bigger spread. I know we're not picking the spread. I was surprised by this. Vegas must know something. They got Rams favored by 5. The Bears rushed the passer exceptionally well. And Jared Goff, I know you're not a fan of his. The one thing he does not do well is handle the pass rush. So what do you think in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think the Bears' record is really indicative of the team. They're sitting at 5-1. To me, they're not a playoff team. They're not a Super Bowl contender team. The Rams have shown me some signs of that, even though I didn't like them coming into the year. I don't like either of these teams, to be honest with you. I'm going to say that at home, the Rams end up winning this one. So I'm going to give it to the Rams, just a little bit.
I'm with you. I was tempted to go the other way, but you're right. I don't think Foles and that team are for real. I'm with you. All right. So I get the Bears. I get the Rams as well. So we differ on 2 games only this week, correct?
Yes, the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game and the Arizona-Seattle game.
All right, fans, make some money off these picks. Between those college picks, these pro picks, guarantee we'll put some money in your bank account for Christmas shopping. PBnZ, signing off. Take care, brother. Have a good weekend.
You too, man.